our sermon time this morning. Kristen and I are going to share with you some of our thoughts on the Minnesota Conference annual meeting that we went to last weekend, and we're going to begin with one of two videos. And have I stalled enough, Kristen? With compassion and calls on the disciples to meet the needs. Matthew reports that Jesus calls 12 disciples. No women are numbered among these 12, yet we know from the gospel passages that many women and children followed Jesus. God beckons all to look with compassion and respond as they did Jesus and the 12 who were sent out into the world. One example of the ways we are sent is by gathering together as an expression of covenant and connection. Last weekend, Kristen, Felicia Richardson, and I gathered as delegates to the Minnesota Conference United Church of Christ annual meeting. We also have the unique covenantal relationship with the conference in that two of the staff members are also members here and were present. Reverend Sherry Nelson, Outdoor Ministries Program Coordinator, and Reverend Sherry Preston, Conference Minister. We gathered to hear our collective story of what it means to be the Minnesota Conference at work together. We voted in officers and committee members of the conference to do its work. The board of directors, committee on ministry, nominating work group, annual meeting planning work group, development, personnel, and others. We heard about the $1.6 million budget and how budgets are mission spending plans. We also heard about the ways in which the conference is being good stewards of its dollars by shrinking its office footprint and moving from the third floor of the church center to the second floor and utilizing the space in more and efficient ways. Our conference has generous support from its churches to do vital work, and it is financially strong. We heard from Reverend Michael Malcolm in his work of environmental justice and how we are to be better stewards of creation and care through the work that we do environmentally. And the warming climate, is affecting all of us. And we welcomed 2 new congregations into the Minnesota Conference United Church of Christ. Bayport Congregational in Bayport and Unified Faith Community in Buffalo. Each of us enters the annual meeting in different ways. As I was nominated and elected to role of moderator of the conference, I am listening carefully to the engagement of the work that the conference is doing and how it matches the church's needs, and then how then the board can assist the staff in living out this vital work together. As delegates from local congregations, we are inspired in many ways, and I'd like to invite Kristen to share a few words. And I also have a few words from Felicia to share, and she was not able to join us today. Kristen, you're on deck. Yay, Kristen. Kristen loves talking in front of people. Yay.
Hi, Kristen. Hi. All right. I like going to annual meetings to see people I don't regularly see often. The fellowship that goes with that, hearing what the conference is up to, and listening to the speakers talk about why church is important and what we can do to continue growing as a congregation. This year at annual meeting, we learned about eco-justice within the church and why it is important. Something that really stuck out to me was when Kevin Brown talked about what it means to have children in the church. And he said that it doesn't matter the amount of children we see in church, but what we do for the children in the community. I had a great time at the end worship where Sherry, Mom, Sarah, and I danced along to all the songs like dorks. That may have been because we were a little too tired from an eventful weekend. I do thank all of you for giving me the opportunity to attend annual meeting, and can't wait to go again next year.
And Felicia Richardson writes, "For everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven." As I stood in the corner of Minnesota Street welcoming people to the annual meeting for the first time, I was struck by an appreciation of all the conference has done for me in anticipation of what was to come in the following days. A time of connection to remind yourself that you're not in ministry alone and to feel the support and care of other ministers. A time to listen to God's still speaking voice as we continue to work toward a more equitable world. A time to refresh and reflect on the joy of being in covenant with a beloved community. Felicia goes on to say, during the first day of the annual meeting, Kevin Brown posed the question, how can we be more ecumenical in our work? The UCC purpose and passion is to give prophetic witness to the current realities present in our world today. However, we cannot do this alone. Reverend Michael Malcolm, the keynote speaker and founder of the People's Justice Council, noted how this work is only possible when we get together. If there was a wildfire, a bucket and a hose would not be enough. We need more people to make a difference against environmental racism, economic oppression, environmental injustice, and climate change. He stressed the importance of raising your voice in advocacy and acting toward just peace. The need to bring people along the journey with humility, mercy, and grace. We can reflect what God is calling us to do by continuing the work with the knowledge that we are all on a continuous journey toward healing and wholeness. This journey of healing and wholeness is done better together. And what we do as a local congregation matters. And when we collectively gather as the greater church Lookout World, there are 120 UCC congregations in the Minnesota Conference, sharing extravagant welcome and radical hospitality. when the church gathers, we can do remarkable things. So thank you. Thank you for sending us, for supporting your delegates, and for the work that we do collectively for the wider church. Thanks be to God. And we have one more video to share, maybe? Yeah.